everybody, it's Jeff May. Thanks for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. We're at the MotoAmerica Superbikes at Atlanta for Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta here in Braselton, Georgia. Setting up SportbikeTrack.com Junior Cup race number 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, yesterday's race was interesting. It was a bunch of people up front drafting and passing like we like here. But Cody Wyman ended up winning by 0.6 of a second, which in this class is like a checkout.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last 3 laps of the race are what he really controlled, Greg. And when you watch that race back, like I did a little bit last night, you can see that he made a decision very late that he was going to try to get to the front and get away. This is the beginning of the race, and you can see we have a group of guys, including our pole man, Levy Batty, who ends up leading the race, then tipping off in turn 5. But again, Greg, 5, 6, 7 bikes at the front. You can see Cody Wyman gets to the front of the group here as they rolled into turn 10. Then we had Lemandry Jr. and Max Van battling as well. But at the end, Cody Wyman wins by the slimmest of margins.
So a great battle across the front. And you can see the 31 back there is Kayla Yakov. And Kayla made some pretty aggressive moves and looked really good on the brakes. So here's what happened. It was 0.6 of a second, but then you have Lemandry Jr. and Lakov, who was battling with Gus Rodeo, and that was some battle without question. Well, we had a chance to send Hannah down to talk to the young Kayla Yakov about her race.
Yesterday, we saw Kayla Yakov mixing it up at the front. Kayla, you led quite a few laps yesterday. Is there anything you plan to do differently in the hope of making it stick for a podium finish?
Yeah, well, yesterday we had a great day. You know, being at the front is definitely something that we were working on for this year. And to see that, you know, come into play was really cool. Definitely just try to stay in the mix today, stay to the front of that group, and hopefully draft into 10A, try to do what I did yesterday, and hopefully another good result.
Best of luck out there, Kayla. Thanks.
Well, for Yakov, she's a demon on the brakes in 10A, but can Cody Wyman do it again? We're going to find out as we get closer to the race start.
Starting with Dunlop.
Like to thank Dunlop. You know, all of these riders you see in front of you today, no matter if it's Mission King of the Baggers or the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup competitors, all running Dunlop. The Dunlop SportMax Q4 is the ultimate track day and club racing tire featuring quick warm-up, no tire warmers needed, and the same construction and compounds as Dunlop's full race tires used in MotoAmerica competition for maximum feel and grip. Made in the same factory and the same machines as the MotoAmerica race slicks. Dunlop, the official tire of MotoAmerica Racing. Visit DunlopMotorcycleTires.com to learn more about the ultimate in track day performance, the Q4. Roger, do they give you a Q4 or do they give you...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, make sure. Hey, stop by the Indian Motorcycle Display today for free demo rides in the fan area. Indian Motorcycle Company is America's first motorcycle company. Founded in 1901, Indian Motorcycles has won the hearts of motorcycles around the world and earned distinction as one of America's most legendary and iconic brands through unrivaled racing dominance, engineering prowess, and countless innovations and industry firsts. Were you injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Chuck Watwood at lawbike.com to get the attention you deserve. Motorcycle accidents are our only business. You can always expect to speak to an attorney when you call. We've been putting riders first for more than 25 years. Call Chuck Watwood at 866-LAWBIKE or go to lawbike.com for more information. You don't want to have to go to Chuck's booth, but if you need to go to Chuck's booth, check him out in the fan zone. They're Yamaha Motor Corporation is a recognized leader in power sports, offering motorcycles, scooters, ATVs, side-by-side vehicles. Yamaha. Make sure you stop by the Yamaha display and Triumph Motorcycles, 120 years. That iconic British motorcycle brand. Stop by the Triumph display in the fan zone area today for a free demo ride. Before we get to the STG Juniors, let's go down to Jason Wygant. We got a little bit of time. Jason, what you got for us?
Well, time is really the whole theme here because with a lot of the talent from this class, guys that won races last year, we know that this class is pretty wide open. A lot of the top riders from last year moved up, right? So who is going to be the pack this year? It's the few riders that were still up front a year ago and remained in the class. Yakov did come on mid-season last year, but when you look at Wyman and a lot of the other talent, they're the fairly familiar names of Junior Cup. So we're kind of seeing these steps, right? You become a contender one year, then you're an absolute rider that's expected to win races or maybe even the title the next year, then they move up and out. So relatively new names, but the more established ones are the ones we've seen rise to the front. So I guess the real question is anyone relatively unknown about to make that step and run with the establishment today?
That's a great point, Jason. And you talk about Kayla Yakov jumping in the middle of the season. Roger, she couldn't. She wasn't old enough to race. She went straight from the Ovales into our class. And I told her yesterday, no matter what, those boys are not going to want to let her beat them. And they flat out told me that.
And for her, I think she showed that yesterday she wasn't scared. I mean, she was the hardest braking going into turn 10. Wasn't afraid to make some passes. So for her, I think, they kind of got in that battle toward the end of the race yesterday, and they let Cody get away. And I think today that's going to be the biggest thing. Don't get in the out-braking duel with each other.
Right.
For the whole lap, let Cody break the draft. Because if they don't, Cody's not going to be able to break the draft. The draft is going to come into play in Junior Cup, and you just can't let him get those couple laps with clean air and make that break.
Gus Rodeo needs to get up there near the front earlier than he did yesterday. There's the 71, Levi Batty. And it's not Levi. He said he hates that. How in the world he got Levi out of Levi, but that is Levi Batty. He went down yesterday. He gets to pick back up where he left off, though, as a pole sitter today.
And not only did he went down yesterday, so he didn't get the experience of the race, but he's had the speed all weekend.
Another one to look out for, Cody Wyman, of course, the winner yesterday. But Max Van, he's looking for that first win. It may just come today.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Welcome back to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. It's going to be an exciting one. Levi Batty, your pole sitter, next to Cody Wyman and Max Van, as we all know him.
Gus Rodeo, Aiden Dow, and Lemandry Jr. are going to be there on row 2 with Yakov, Bickness and Dreyer on row 3. Rivera, Chase Black, and Owen Williams just outside of row 4. Marinello, Muschler, Severano, Medina, Famer, and Elliott will be on row number 6. Coming into this race, Greg, it's just going to be a matter, again, of how well you can set yourself up. I mean, when you look at 11 laps of this race, you know it's going to come down to the final lap. But yesterday, Cody did such a nice job of kind of squashing that with 3 to go. Just starts putting his head down and doing those 42s, minute 42s. So couldn't have any better conditions for racing. And,
yeah, but you also mentioned that Cody felt that the pace wasn't as fast as it could be. So we'll see if there's anyone who can up that pace and get closer to that 140 flat mark. When the red lights go off, we're going race 2. SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup is on the way. At turn 1 awaits. Who got a launch? It looks like your pole sitter, the 71 of Levi Batty, with a great launch. But no, up the inside is that the 48 of Max Van, who gets the jump, gets the whole shot.
Yeah, Max Van. Levi Batty got a great launch, and remember him yesterday, Greg, on a second lap. He tipped off in turn 5, and the reason I bring that up is you do these first races. The advantage of having 2 races on a weekend, you get all that data so you can try to come back and improve the second day. And when you don't have that, it makes it a little harder. Now, as far as the speed of these bikes, these guys are able to get to a performance level probably a lot earlier than most of the other bikes in the paddock because they're just smaller, they're a little lighter, a little bit less horsepower. Probably not as much to tune out as you would have on some other motorcycles. So his setup's going to be pretty good. And he was able to watch the race yesterday, I'm sure, and he looked over the time. So Levi, for his first time ever getting pole position, is hoping to rebound and turn that into a result today.
Our first time onto the back straightaway, and it looks like there's just a slight gap which we expect to close, and it looks like a better start for Gus Rodeo, the number 96. So Rodeo, the Rodeo Racing Warhorse HSBK Racing entry out of New Jersey, was in 3rd spot, but it looks like Cody Wyman on that Alpha Omega Ninja 400 will take the spot over. But our 1st and 2nd place, and look at Kayla Yakov, the 31
there she
on
goes.
the Altus Motorsports Ninja, doing a good job, just absolutely loving hard braking into turn 10A.
Yeah, and she's super comfortable. When you have, man, I can't tell you, when you have that comfort in a spot like that down in turn 10, where you feel like you can just go by anybody, still get your bike stopped and turn, that's something that you can really put in your pocket for the end of the race. As you can see, Max Van's going to lead the first lap. Cody Wyman goes up underneath Batty into turn 1. Got 7 bikes, Greg, right now at that front. Joe Lemandry Jr. just up the back there with Bickness and Dreyer.
Now, Jay, looking at the top of the hill, Kayla Yakov, the 31, went in there in 5th spot. Yesterday, she was getting passed up into turn 2 area, and what she told me earlier today was she was losing the front going up turn 1, out of turn 1 towards turn 2, and they stiffened up the front end of the motorcycle ever so slightly so she could basically get through that turn, feel a little bit better. She thought it was too soft on the front, but it's also allowing her to go even deeper into turn A as Cody Wyman's going to fan out. So there goes your race winner from yesterday, the 34 out of New York on that Alpha Omega entry. But all the while, Max Van, after a huge confidence boost yesterday, is the SportbikeTrack.com racer, and he is doing a great job out front right now as he's pushing the air. Hannah?
Greg, I spoke with Max Van, and he was very happy about a second place finish yesterday, but he said he feels like faster pace than he showed. His bike feels really good today, and he said he thinks he just needs to be the most aggressive in the pack in order to pull off this victory.
Here comes Yakov looking for 3rd place. She doesn't do it, but Cody Wyman goes to the front ahead of Max Van. And Jay, the question is when we talk about being aggressive, the issue is with SportbikeTrack.com Junior Cup, it doesn't always pay dividends, though. That's the problem. You got to know where to be aggressive, right?
Yeah, you do, because if you start going into some of these corners too tight and it ruins all of your rolling momentum, it makes the bikes have no acceleration. So that's where it can kind of hurt. Now, when you watch these guys here go up turn 1, you'll see how left of the track they get going up the hill. On the right side of your screen, that yellow line, that's where you're going to see all the other classes pretty much. They get into turn 1, they kind of hook it back up that hill so that they can straighten out turn 2 in the top of the hill. On these little bikes, though, it's all about carrying that rolling momentum up the hill, and that's why you see them run it out so much. So right now, Cody Wyman has gone to the front. We see a 42.6. That time passed. And let's see if these lap times continue to go down. Greg, what was the pole position time? I believe it was high 41, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, yeah. It was, so pole position was a 141.4.
Yep.
But the lap record for SportbikeTrack.com Junior Cup is a 140 flat.
Yeah.
That was done in 2020. So in terms of lap record pace, and I think that's what Cody Wyman was really kind of referring to, these 42.6s that he just pulled off. It's not setting the world on fire necessarily, but the question becomes, do you try to push really hard, and try to break away from this field when you know this back straightaway is going to just gather everyone back up again, and another pass for the lead. And it looks like Levi Batty trying to make a bid, but we heard one of the bikes on the rev limiters. Here they go 5 wide into 10A. Yakov trying to make an inside bid, and it's Yakov who takes the lead. So all of a sudden, from 3rd to 1st goes the 31.
How comfortable is she down there? And it's almost like you guys can try to go in here with me, but you're not going to be able to. And you can see Levi Batty right there really got close to over-braking going into turn 12, but he makes a nice job of getting out of there. Now he's going to try to go up the inside here of the 31 as they go down. Max Van's on the outside. So,
wow. Batty
almost lost the front there.
Almost lost the front again, like he did yesterday, but he saves it. But Yakov gets shuffled back to 3rd. So Levi Batty, who's racing for Bartcon Racing, he's out of Belgium, coming here with a lot of experience under his belt, has the lead over Max Van, who's number 48 on that SportbikeTrack.com entry. All these motorcycles in this field this year are all Kawasaki Ninja 400s. And Yakov in 3rd, still holding on to the position. Hannah?
When I got in contact with Levi, he was telling me a little bit about his background. He really only started racing professionally when he was 13 years old. He's 18 now. So yesterday we talked about his crash, and he said he just made a mistake. He was too aggressive on the Dunlops and needed to really wait for those tires to come in. As for this morning, the bike was fine. His quick shifter wasn't working up, but it should be good for the race. And he said today he just really wants to be patient on the first laps until those tires come in and get out front. And so far he's done exactly what he said he was going to.
He has, and Batty is learning how hard you can push these Dunlops in certain situations. As Yakov into 10A again, retakes the lead, JP.
Yeah, goes right by, does a nice job. Now, whoever's bike is hitting, there's a couple of them hitting the limiter, as you can hear. That's going to be a problem later in the race, as you see.
Oh, Batty up the inside.
Yeah, Batty goes up the inside. That was a kind of a move I think he tested a lot before. He knew he could get in there a little bit deeper than Kayla. But see what it does to his exit speed, Greg. He doesn't get out of the corner as well, and that's going to allow Kayla to go back down the outside of him, and up underneath is Max Van, and then you got Lemandry now having a look up underneath Batty. So when you go into that last corner fast, it's such a slow corner that if you over brake too much, it just kills your rolling momentum through it. And it allowed 4 people really to get the drive on him as he came down the straightaway. But this is a good thing to have in your pocket, like I said, for like a last lap type of thing.
Yeah, because we know after this corner that on the replay, left part of your screen, that Yakov was not able to get back by Batty. When we crossed the stripe, he led by 19 thousandths of a second, even though Yakov got a really good drive. Right part of your screen is live pictures. Max Van leads the way from Yakov and Batty. And then in the mix, of course, is Bazooka Joe Lemandry Jr., Gus Rodeo, Cody Wyman, Hayden Bickney's in the mix as well. It is quite a race we have up front, Jason.
Absolutely.
I'm not good at math, but it looks like we have, 8 riders?
8 guys, 8 people. So
8 guys and a girl.
Tao, yeah, 8 riders. Batty's at the front of that. Aiden Tao last time was the one at the back of it, but they're only half a second apart. Look at this, Greg. 5 wide almost going down into here. And right now, Kayla's looking for a spot so that she can go up underneath everybody.
Oh, is she trying to get the lead again? There's not enough real estate, but she'll go to second.
Pretty smart riding though, like
really smart.
She makes good decisions. All these riders making really nice decisions.
What about Max Van?
Yeah.
Oh, and somebody trying to go up the inside of Kayla again. Is that?
That's Max Van.
That's Max Van. Yeah. So Lemandry's leading the way now. Yeah, the 62. So these SportbikeTrack.com entered bikes looking so similar. So it's Lemandry Jr. who's now had the lead for a second. Yakov, this is the part where she struggled yesterday. And Jason, looking at Yakov's line, she's definitely taking a wider line, more of a traditional Junior Cup line, I would say.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen her lead up to this stage, as we see one of the riders get really wide at the top and maybe ran into the dirt. But we haven't seen Kayla lead up the hill through that little section and down the hill here. So this is a first for her to be leading at this stage of the lap. And let's see, see if she can stretch it at all. Doesn't look like she's able to, as these bikes are all still nose to tail,
yeah.
Greg.
And back on lap 3, by the way, we're working lap 6. She set the fastest lap of the race at a 1:42.443, but that is with the draft. So for Yakov, not doing that pushing your own air, but doing a great job to lead this train. So here comes the Altus Motorsports Kawasaki Ninja 400 on the back straightaway. And Yakov tight in the tuck as much as possible. This would be something. If no one could draft her and she could lead all the way to 10-8, not possible. There's too many bikes around, too much air to push around. 5-6 wide as we go down into 10-8. Yakov gets gobbled up by a whole heap of riders, but it's going to be Batty, the 71 on the Bart Karn Racing.
Kayla goes back to 6th. So it just goes to show you what that draft does and track position does as she goes back up underneath. It looked like Max Van, she was going up underneath. She does. But Batty now goes back to the front, and we almost forgot about Cody Wyman. He was back there running around in 6th, 7th, and whatever, and now he's got himself back up at the front, Greg, with 5 to go. Let's see if he's going to try to do what he did yesterday, start dropping these lap times and try to get down into the low 42s or even into the 41s if he's capable of it.
So for Cody Wyman, yesterday's race winner, he's got a clear track ahead of him. What's he going to be able to do with it? Down to the S as we go. Couple bike lengths eked out from top of turn 2 to turn 5 that they're going through right now.
Same thing we saw yesterday. See that little gap starting to go, and what you can really see, Greg, look, 38.4 that time for Cody Wyman in the first split, 38.8, 38.8, 38.5 for Max Van. So Max Van trying to go also, and he's able to close that gap onto the back of Batty. Now, Cody doesn't have a big enough lead, Greg. He's going to get swallowed up here down this back straightaway. Look at Yakov in 5th, or maybe even Lemandry Jr. in 6th to draft their way back up to the front of this group. As you can see, Cody runs down the extreme left-hand side.
Ooh.
Wow, you see how close that was? It looked like Max Van and Batty's tires probably touch rear to front. And you can see now Max Van goes to the front. Cody, look at Kayla. She's running it down the inside of all of them.
What a move. I mean, that is her spot. When I spoke with the 31 this morning, I said, what position would you like to be in on the last lap? And she said, 4th place. She thinks she has the perfect draft from 4th, and she's got the ability to outbrake out of that draft and lead onto the front straightaway. So at the moment, as we come across the stripe, 4 to go in the SportbikeTrack.com Junior Cup, it's Max Van who leads the way, and he just did it with the fastest lap of the race. Up the top of the hill, turn 2, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, SportbikeTrack.com Junior Cup. Less than 4 laps to go, and Cody Wyman just took the lead from Max Van, who had just set the fastest lap of the race at a 42.1.
42.1, I think it's quicker than we went yesterday in the race, that Cody was running those times at the end of the race on his own. So running low 42s, but Max Van was able to get close enough to where Cody kind of pulled these guys through that first split. And then now look, Cody's gotten past. Max Van is there leading now. But he did a nice job of not letting Cody get away and was able to still keep this group in contact to draft down the back straightaway.
And look who's behind Yakov right now. It's Gus Rodeo. And yesterday we saw Rodeo and Yakov have a rough time with each other down in turn number 10. And when I asked Kayla about it, I said, is Gus going to be on your Christmas card list? And she said, well, it's not that bad. He did help in qualifying a little bit.
There you go. Yeah,
but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, there's a bike on that rev limiter. So now it looks like a little bit of a rider breakaway as Yakov's going to go right to 10A, right to the apex. Oh, so first little mistake that we've seen from Yakov, but yeah, not too bad.
Did a nice job.
Still able to gather it back up and lead down, but she's going to leave herself open on the inside. No, she rolls it. And she's able to lead onto the front straightaway.
Now she's got 3 laps to go. These guys are going to be drafting and redrafting, and Lemandry Jr. there in 4th. He's going to get a nice toe down this front straightaway. Let's see as they fan out for turn 1. Kayla's going to go back tight again. Nope, it's going to be Max Van and Cody Wyman as they head up the hill, Greg.
Look at Rodeo trying to get up the inside. The problem with that line occasionally is you don't know where to filter because you have this really tight turn 2 area up at the top. So Rodeo will slot himself into that 5th spot. Well, this battle up front is intense. The one thing I'm really liking about the athletes that we're seeing right now, Jason, is these passes are clean.
I was just going to say, it's funny how you can get 7 of them to go up into that top section, 2, 3, 4, and they all kind of give each other enough. There's a lot of respect up there in this class with the racing at the top of the hill. And, again, I think today it literally is going to come to the last lap. I don't think anybody's going to be able to break away like we saw Cody successfully be able to do yesterday. And, the thing for Gus Rodeo there in 5th, it just doesn't look like he can kind of draft or redraft any of these guys down these straightaways. Even when he's in a double bike draft, it almost seems like the 96 is kind of stuck out. So, and I don't know if that's his bike on the limiter or not either. That's going to hurt him as well. But Kayla will probably lead these guys into turn 10 again. Wyman's going to slot in their bike behind her.
A little wide from Batty. No big dramas there.
And this is good for Levi Batty. He's getting a chance to race against everybody today. See the competition he's going to have to deal with throughout the year. And as it looks like the 69 of Hayden Bickney's went through.
Aiden Tao.
And then Aiden Tao ran off the track. Yeah, so that's going to end his bid for
8 goes to 7. And this is what happens late in the race with tires getting a little bit greasy.
Ooh, Cody got a nice run through turn 1, and see these others kind of getting bunched up here. If he can get to the top of this hill and somehow just absolutely slaughter this little section and make it perfect, he might be able to create a gap, but Kayla did a good job through there as well.
So Cody Wyman in the mix, leading right now. Yakov in the 31. Max Van's the 48, right behind him the 62 of Joe Lemandry Jr., then Gus Rodeo on the 96. Hayden Bickney's in the 71. Levi Batty, your pole sitter.
Gus got a great drive out of turn 5, but just didn't really have anywhere to go. So
I just don't think that Gus right now has the gearing underneath him to to do what he needs to do on the back straightaways.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gearing or what it is. It's so weird to me to look at Gus and think he's the biggest guy of all these, when just a year ago it seemed like he was the smallest guy of these guys, and now it just seems like it's difficult for him to do anything. Very easy for others to kind of draft him or draft past him. But here you go, Cody Wyman leading down the back stretch. Doesn't have anybody coming by him right now. That's going to be a big boost of confidence. They might fan out and get him before turn 10. But let's see, is Kayla going to go down the inside of all of them again? She is, Greg. She's going to have a go. Max Van's going to chop her nose off there. Good clean riding, good clean racing. And these guys, when they come by, they are going to see the white flag this time past. Look at Kayla. She got such a great drive back up the hill.
Outstanding run for Yakov. But is this the position that she wants to be in? The white flag flies. We have 1 lap to go. It was Yakov, Lemandry, and Gus Rodeo who ended up coming across the stripe in 3rd. So all of a sudden, the 96 is making some big moves.
Look at him. He's trying to go around the outside right now. Even Kayla, as they head up the hill, does Gus Rodeo make it through? He doesn't quite get there, but he's got himself into 3rd, and you can see how tight it gets up there. But Max Van's going to take to the point coming down the hill. Yakov, Rodeo, and then Lemandry is in 4th with Cody Wyman, yesterday's winner, in 5th. Batty and Bickneys are just, I think they're just dropped back a little bit.
Who has the strategy? Into turn 6 we go. Is anybody going to draft by Yakov on the 31? Max Van, does he really want to be leading this race? So Gus Rodeo goes by.
And the thing is these guys all know who the strongest person is into turn 10. So it's going to be difficult because she is going to be able to draft Gus Rodeo, no worries. And that's going to pull her along and probably up alongside.
Yeah, but the person who's in the best spot is Cody Wyman.
He is.
He was in 4th, now he's in 3rd. He's going by Yakov.
But watch this. She's going to be on the left side going down the hill. These guys are going to get blocked out, and she's going to go to the left and try to outbreak everybody.
Ooh, they're bullying her around, and so Max Van still has the lead. Here they go. Is Yakov going to go from 4th to 1st? She does. She pushes the issue. She gets the line. She's a little bit wide, but she's leading. But the drive is Cody Wyman's. But here comes Gus Rodeo up the outside. Here they come down the hill. It's going to be a braking duel into the final corner. Yakov deep on the brakes. Here she comes to the final corner. Can she hold on to it? Oh, and one rider goes down. Batty collects it. Here we go to the line, and it's going to be Kayla Yakov who takes the win by 0.16 of a second.
Oh, and all those guys went down behind her. Lemandry, I think, is in that. Bickneys, Batty are the 3 that we saw go down. But how about this for Kayla Yakov, Greg? She did an amazing job. Cody giving her congrats.
"14 years old. Born in June of 2007.
How about that? That's going to be so cool. And what a neat job for the Altus team that's given her the opportunity. Again, a young lady who works really, really hard, and the confidence she had into turn 10 was insane.
What a smart race.
Oh, my gosh.
What a smart race.
Unreal.
I mean, what a race. Here's the NJ. Call it for us.
I'm trying to see what happened. Oh, Patty got a little out of shape there. He runs into the back of Max Van. Lemandry nowhere to go. And, of course, Bickneys then literally has nowhere to go. He ends up crashing, makes a mess down there in the last corner. I'm trying to see if anybody was able to get back up and get their bikes across the line. But, man, it's a shame that it had to end that way for sure for these 3 in the back. But we can't take anything away from our podium finishers, Yakov, Rodeo,
yeah, that happened from 5th back. So really what you're looking at is Yakov. There's the winning pass. So right now, Jay, she is in, what, 4th place?
She's not getting denied, Greg. I said she's going to go down the left side, and she's going to go by all of them. And it didn't matter how much these guys tried to push her over to the left. She was going.
Incredible run for Kayla Yakov. I mean, what a move. So, look, this is the way it's going to finish. Yakov, Rodeo, Wyman, Max Van, Aiden Tao, Medea, Dreyer, Marinello, Owen Williams, and Chase Black. All right. Wow. We're going to break. When we come back, you want to hear from Kayla Yakov? See if she won this race. 16. Well, stay with us.
What do you think, Roger Hayden? We were watching it with everybody here, and history is made here in the SportbikeTrackGear.com juniors. Kayla Yakov taking the victory. I saw her yesterday, like you're due, and I promise you the boys are not going to give it to you easy. They want to beat you probably more than anyone, and they were giving her the business.
They were definitely making it hard, but she was by far the strongest on the brakes going into 10A, and she was not going to go to the front going in there. She went from 4th to 1st, and she was strong on the brakes yesterday. I mentioned it before the race, how strong she was there, and today she was just as strong. And I think she got confidence every lap as she was out braking those guys. And then the last lap, she was not going to settle for anything but a
win. No matter how hard they pushed her, Kayla Yakov came back and kept coming back and kept coming back and under control as well. Into that left-hander every single time. I don't care how inside you're going to go. She was going to go underneath you into turn 10. I think it was for Dylan. Is that what it has on the top of the head? Congratulations, Rocco Landers, the Junior Cup champion a couple of years ago.
And I had a couple years ago had a chance to work with her a little bit on the O'Volleys, and such a great kid. Her dad puts in a lot of effort for her program, and she's really committed to getting better. Spent the off season at Chuck Waller Raceway, putting in a lot of time. Last year, at the beginning of the year, she struggled a little bit, but she's figured it out. And I mean, not only good on the brakes, but even when she was leading, she could do the lap times at the front.
Probably, 6, 7 riders that could have won that race, and Kayla was the better. You see tears coming out of her eyes.
Nice job, Kayla.
And unfortunately for several riders here, Levy Batty got crossed up and took out, I think, Joe Lamandry and a couple of others. Aiden Tao taking advantage of that, making a top 5 there. But Gus Rodeo, I thought, was in the best position as he was heading towards that downhill, and it looked like he had to check up one little bit up at the top. I think he was starting to lose the front, and I think that cost him.
Yeah, and it looked like he put himself in a good spot, but, Max Van leading that last lap,
yes.
I kind of told you I thought he was a set and duck, so that's something that he'll learn from. I'm sure next time he'll try to put himself in a better position. You don't want to be leading on that back straightaway headed onto the last lap, especially a pack that big.
I know she can hear us down there. Regroup, gather yourself. You're about to be going out to the rest of the world. We have a female winner here in the SportbikeTrackGear.com juniors, and her name is Kayla Yakov. What a win.
Deep breath. You got it. Here we go.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Kayla Yakov coming into victory lane after an outstanding win. And when I ran into her earlier today, Jason, I think it played out just the way she thought it was going to.
Hey, when you're the quickest one down there into turn 10, this area, man, that's a big advantage. And she wasn't going to be denied down there, was she? I mean, everybody was moving over to the left, and I had a feeling that's where she was going to try to make that pass. There's a bump down there into turn 10, Greg, that can be pretty intimidating, but if your bike works good over it, it can make a big difference, and it obviously did for her.
Now we have a bit of a situation with the results at the moment, because what we're hearing is there was actually a waving yellow flag going down into turn 10 on that final lap, but the issue is that, Jason, everyone was passing. I mean, Kayla and Gus and,
I don't even know.
Cody and Max Van and the whole lot of them, Levi Batty and stuff. So currently the results are under review, but what we have on our timing and scoring screens, I understand the rules behind it all, Jason, and this results might change, but what's not going to change is the fact that that was some move that Yakov made over and over and over again. She was able to take the lead in certain spots that were different from when we saw before, and the fact that
Yakov has arrived at 14 years old.
I said at the beginning of the year she'd win races this year, and she's, right now she has declared the winner of this one. The controversy is, Greg, is in one of our replays I did see a rider walking in the gravel, but who do you penalize? Like you said, they're 5 wide, so I don't know where that comes from, or if maybe the person that was leading into the yellow flag gets credited. I don't know how all that goes or how it works. So yeah, they're probably going to have to go look at some video. You can see the mess that the gravel made here between the 3 riders on the last corner.
All right, we're going to step away for a moment. When we come back, we'll get this whole situation sorted out as to the final results of race 2.
Well, you see the course workers doing their due diligence there. Is that our guy yesterday that was the sprinter that's actually working on his soccer skills?
Probably. He's not afraid to do a little work.
He's obviously a lefty, too. I'm pretty sure that was our Usain Bolt lookalike, our Carl Lewis. Was that him from yesterday?
Today he's Ronaldo.
Oh yeah, right. Ronaldo.
You like it? I know my soccer players too.
That might have been our guy. I can't remember. One of them was fast. That's all I remember. But yeah, the course workers, all the track crew, they don't get enough kudos. Again, clearing things off, and that was from Levy Batty that shot off the course and just kind of got that huckabuck, as you would say, and then it spun him around. He grabbed it and pitched him, and the other guys had nowhere to go.
Well, you could tell, he was trying to get a good drive out of that last corner to see if he could make a run to the flag. And here's the pass again. You can see the yellow flag there.
That's on our ISO screen. We'll see if they can get it.
But I can't tell, if it's standing or waving.
Okay, so we're able to see it on our ISO screen. It shows that particular one is absolutely standing. There's no doubt about that, right? I mean, even in slow motion, we don't see it moving. Again, everything we say is officially unofficial, and that's what the guys are referring to. And in that case, I don't know how you do it, because you can look at the positions that they were in and say, okay, who was leading going into a turn? But every single one of these people passed another.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not my job trying to figure that one out.
Dude. Yeah, we talk about the course workers having a tough job. Race director having the toughest job, oftentimes. Never gets any love. Still have plenty racing. Hey, you said something to me as we were off air. You like, can no one complain about us not having good close racing in MotoAmerica, can they?
Yeah, it's been awesome this year. I mean, so many photo finishes. Every race coming down pretty much till the last lap, and nobody's really broke away. Danilo broke away one race at Austin, but besides that, every race has been great, and I think that's kudos to MotoAmerica for their rules and all the stuff that they're doing to try to make the racing great, and they've obviously did a great job at it.
Michael Hill's watching across the pond. Of course, he's beating me up on Twitter right now. Your stuff blowing up as well. He's going to be with us, I believe, not at Virginia International Raceway, but at Road America. They do have some cool birds here. I don't think we have those down in Texas. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Taking a look at the replay here, Kayla Yakov. There's the flag. There is a standing yellow flag, holding as still as you possibly can. And if the question is, do you undertake on a waving flag like that? That one didn't look to be waving.
And the question is, too, who was where whenever they got there?
Yeah, at that stripe. Right. That's darn near impossible when they are what? They were 5 wide there? Maybe 5?
5 at least.
So, again, don't want that. Don't want to have to make that call. We got some bird lovers in our camera crew. I don't know if that's Beans or who's getting us that shot. Let's look at the replay again for those of you watching on MotoAmerica Live Plus and at home. I mean, we had 5 wide going into that straightaway. Somebody has to. I mean, you have to initiate the turn sometime.
And also, they're gonna have to back it up more, I believe, too, to really if they're gonna whatever they're gonna decide and what the rule is.
I mean, what would you say in that particular case? In that particular case, it doesn't make a difference what happens now because Kayla Yakov going into that turn was in front.
Well, I mean, I don't write the rule book, but if it was up to me, I would say it didn't. The rider was off the track and it didn't change anything.
Yeah. But I'm saying at that point, you have to initiate that turn, and she was on the inside. I'm not passing. I'm just turning.
And as a rider, you're so they're 5 wide. They can't. They can't. They probably didn't even see the yellow flag. Because you see how far the inside she is. She has 4 riders to her right.
Yeah.
She might not even seen a yellow flag.
Yeah, and she has to. I mean, she's on the inside now. She has to go. What happens? She slows down and she's on the inside. She could clear out the entire field. It's a tough decision. I don't know. It's one thing if she's in the back, they back up, and she just shoots through. She was on that inside that whole time. I don't know. Again, like I said, it's not up for up, and we're just guessing. But that's the one thing, and I want to point this out for the fans. Oftentimes, and I cover television, I'll be covering ocean, stuff next week, covering fishing. The guys in the TV thing, they have to be so prim and proper. You and I, we're going out to the world for the webcast things. We can voice our opinion, and we don't have to necessarily toe any company line. Let's take a look at it for those of you live and those of you watching. We have an opinion. So many people wide. Okay, maybe Max Van. Right at this point, there's no doubt he's in front. I don't see a yellow. Don't see a yellow. Don't see a yellow.
And there's a corner worker right there on the right, so that corner's open. And now where do they judge the corner? But look where Kayla is. Look how far up the inside she is. There's no way she can see a yellow flag onto the right.
And still hadn't got into one until right there.
Yeah.
We saw it until right there. So where do you say, how do you determine? Because I promise you, heading into that spot, there were 5 riders that could have been in the lead at that point. So that's why it is so difficult today. Like I said, Michael's texting us and getting in here, and he's like giving us World Superbike thoughts and things like that. But even in World Superbike, I don't care if it's MotoGP, what do you have? That's a tough call when you have 5 people going into the same turn side by side.
It is a tough call, but obviously MotoAmerica's got to make the right decision because you can't let it slide once, then if it happens again,
Yeah. How far back do you go?
Yeah,
I mean, you've been doing this a long time.
Look at her. She's just so nervous.
It's okay, Kayla. It's okay. You did everything you could. And here's the thing. You're a rider coach. You talk to these, and you talked to her back in the Ovalle days. What do you say to somebody? Either you give it to you or they take it away, and there's still 4 other people that aren't going to win this out of that group of 5. What do you say to anybody? You just say, hey, you ran your race, and we'll come back, and we'll see you at VIR.
Well, to her, I would say, obviously, you did everything you could. You put yourself in the right spot, and she didn't see the yellow flag, and you going for the win. You get caught up in racing. You're not looking around all the time, and you got 4 or 5 wide, and, you can just see. That's what's kind of cool about the MotoAmerica Live Plus. You get to see the highs and lows and all the emotions that all these riders really feel.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and you look inside our booth now, and we always have those microphones live, and we can do this because it is on the web and not necessarily network television. You'll probably hear some disappointment no matter what from somebody that, unless you win, you're going to be disappointed.
And it depends where you finished. I'd say a rider that finished 3rd or 4th might be complaining to race control right now, like she passed under a yellow flag. So a lot of different voices in their ear, and people are going to try to get what's best for them. But right now, we just don't know. We've seen a great race, though.
Yeah.
We do know that. That was a great race. Anybody that won that race is deserving. They all real great races and put themselves in a spot to be in contention on that last lap.
I see Max Van there on the right. Well, I can't even look at time and scoring because that's absolutely irrelevant. But I'm looking at, on our time and scoring showing Max Van and Aiden Tao with Kayla Yakov there. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that was ever a factor or coming to that last thing. But Max Van, how about his run? I talked to him yesterday, and hey, that's skinny Max Van, and he can probably hear us talk. He lost a lot of weight. I mean, he looked like he was more into that junior high school kind of football mode that he was trying to be that guy. And now he told me, he said he was pushing to lose weight. He just focuses on racing, and he's doing everything you would want him to do.
And it looks like they're starting to move some bikes. So things are going to change, looks like.
And there's nothing that Max can do about the outcome of this race. He had one hell of a race. I don't care where they put him. Same thing with Gus Rodeo. He had a shot, Cody Wyman. Every one of those, and I know it's going to be tough for whoever doesn't win, but there were 5-6 riders that could have won. Levy Batty had a shot to be up there in that top 3, and he didn't even get points.
And it says on our screen now, bikes 31, 96, 34, 71, 2 position penalties for passing under yellow.
So I don't even know what that means. So that would put, if that is the case, again, everything we say is officially unofficial. If they do penalize the riders for passing under the yellow, unofficially, by our count, that would put Max Van with the victory, followed by Aiden Tao and Kayla Yakov. If that's the case, that can't be the case because Kayla Yakov would be that 31 bike. So, again, everything is officially unofficial.
Well, I mean, she got
2 places.
2 spots. You go from first to third, but I'm not really that good at math.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That would put her from first to third, and that is the case. So if race control, and again, that your history says when they put it on there, they've made that decision for the most part.
Yeah, usually.
So, again, everything is officially unofficial. They're trying to figure out how it would, and if that would be the penalty for passing under yellow and docked 2 positions, Max Van could get his first victory of the year. And I don't care if it's the officials that made that decision or not. All of those guys had a chance to win. And what about Aiden Tao? If he does finish there, it could get interesting because he was off the track just 1 lap before.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
All right, so while you were in commercial break, this was the finish, and Kayla Yakov came across the line in first place. Big win, career win, 14 years old, all the stuff that surrounds it. However, what actually happened on the final lap into turn 10, you can see the middle top part of your screen. That's a yellow flag. There is no passing allowed in MotoAmerica competition when a yellow flag waves. That means that the 31, Yakov, 96 Rodeo, 34 Wyman, and 71, so the 71, all penalized for passing under a waving flag, penalized 2 positions. So that's Yakov's reaction after getting the win and then finding out she's in third place. So let's take a look at the results as we know them. The race win is going to go to Max Van. So Max Van is credited with his win. Aiden Tao, because he was in that group of 8 but ran off, he was 8 seconds back since the other 4 riders got relegated 2 positions from a penalty. He goes to third and Yakov second, and Yakov goes third. So let's get down to Hannah with our winner, Max Van.
There was certainly a lot of trading passes, a lot of drafting, a lot of different strategies. Once the podium for you today, Max. Take me through those last couple laps of that race.
Well, first of all, I just want to say everybody who's bought something from SportbikeTracker.com throughout the past 16 years. That's why I'm up here the top step. But I mean, it was a great battle. I had a solid plan, and I got passed into the yellow flag. And I'm really sorry, Kayla. You rode a great race, and I can't wait to race with you at VIR.
Congratulations, our STG Junior Cup winner, Max Van. Guys.
Class act right there.
Yeah, he's got nothing to apologize. He didn't do anything wrong. It's just, it's not Max Van's fault, and he's worked hard to get to where he's at. We've heard what he's done during the offseason. Did a nice job today.
And you know what? If he's leading the way and he sees that yellow flag, you don't know if he rolled out of it knowing that he wasn't going to get past. But anyway, this is the points as we head off to VIR. Well, a lot to talk about in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, and more to come as the rest of the season rolls on. Can Yakov rebound at VIR? We look forward to finding out.